in Christianity, you've got a pretty amazing set of differences, and the same is true in all these different religions. So when people say all religions are the same, they have a good intention. What they probably mean is we ought to get along better, and we all have a version of the golden rule, which is true. But I think it might be good to say, actually, there are big, big differences between, in our religions and between our religions, and we can't depend on sameness to solve all of our problems. And then very often people want to talk more about that. And then on the other side, here's my recommendation. You'll often hear people say something quite hostile about people of other faiths. Just the other night, I was in another city talking about this book, and an elderly gentleman, sweetest guy in the world, got up and started saying a bunch of really insulting things about Islam. He didn't really know much about Islam, but he watches a certain cable news channel that's given most of his information, and it's terrible stuff. And he was just passing on what he heard, and it was, it was sincere as the day is long. And so we often hear that sort of thing said, and I had the chance to help him see things maybe a little more balanced way. But here's what I'd recommend you say. When someone says something really offensive about them over there, say, "Wow, I see that differently." Try it. Ready? "Wow, I see that differently." And then almost always the person will say, "Well, what do you mean? What do you see differently?" And this is very important. At that point, you say, "I don't need to go into it. I just wanted you to know I see it differently." And here's the reason I say that. Because if you can withhold the need to convince them that you're right, you can say, "I differ from you, but I like you. I don't need to convince you." At that moment, you're living with difference. And you're giving them a gift that you can give them in no other way. But if you say that, then they'll say even more. "What do you mean? I want to know." And then you say, "Well, I'll tell you what, if you really want to know, ask me in a week or two. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I just see it differently, and that's all for now." And then if they talk to you later, that's okay. But for that period of time, they will have experienced complete acceptance by you, and yet, well, here's the 3 words that I think are key. The courage to differ graciously. And that's what I think we have to do with us especially, but sometimes with them, whatever that would be as well.